Yeah, hi. Let's see. This is a 2003 Chevy Tahoe, which I purchased 2 months ago, and it's had more mind-numbing problems that shouldn't happen to a 10-year-old vehicle. But one of the most annoying problems that we had was that I was getting heat on the passenger side of my of the compartment for heating and air. The air conditioning would be on, and I'd be blowing heat out of the passenger side, and the control didn't do anything. I tried to find as much information as I possibly could on YouTube, and with the manuals and whatever, and nothing really covered it. So with all the information I was able to get together on YouTube, which has been wonderful on working for this vehicle, I was able to get a little bit done, but not quite right. As you can see, I took a lot of the vehicle apart because I was told by different reference points that the actuator for the right side was in the center of the dashboard, under the dash. That was wrong, and I did a lot of unnecessary ripping apart here, and I can tell you right now, this whole thing is not going back with as many screws as it came with. That's for sure. But I figured with all the help that I got from people from YouTube, it was my turn to pay my debt. So I came up with a really quick way to replace that passenger side actuator, which there are two. The first thing you have to do is I took apart way too much of this. The console you don't have to hardly touch. The only thing you have to take apart is this panel right here on the side. That's all. Follow the frame around the speedometer just pulls off. It just has clips that pull out like this. You have to take the glove compartment apart, and then you have the panel here. These pop out. You can find that on YouTube. This whole dash on the top, what you do is you have two screws. Well, let me get this thing aimed right. Yeah. You have two screws here on this side, and you have two screws on the driver's side. And then the rest of it just starts picking up, and you can pop the whole thing right off. It's really, really simple. Okay, this is the dashboard skin. I was wrong. There's a screw here. There may be a screw here and there. I think that's for the duct. The bar, the grab bar here, that goes across, that comes off. There's these little pinch things. All you do is pinch them. Just give them a pinch and they will pop out. There's no screws. You just squeeze them and this thing comes out. Here on the side you got two screws on the right, two on the left, and the rest of it just starts popping out. All right? There may be a screw. There may be a screw there. Take off what's obvious, but there was no hidden screws there. And you had to pop off these side things, which again, they just pull out that way. Push them. They don't pull towards you. They pull towards the inside of the car. All right? Now, let me get around to the front here. Actuators. Now, there are two. One is for the driver's side. What the hell is it? Oh, there it is. It's underneath. It's on the bottom. There's also a panel over here on the very bottom that you pop off. There's 3 screws. One's a pain to get to, the other 2 aren't bad. Anyway, underneath here, this thing right here, this is the actuator for the driver's side. The way that you check to make sure that it's working is turn the thing on, turn the engine on, turn the air conditioning on, move the temperature control lever up and down. If this moves, you can see a little metal pin there. If it moves, it's good. So I was a little upset. But the problem is the passenger side is up here. It's up there. And all of the YouTube videos that I've seen have this thing. Get this thing to focus. It's back in there, right there. Really impossible to get to because the ductwork is right on top of it. Now, here's the trick that I just came up with. I'm a contractor, and if something's in the way, you take it out and then you put it back. The ductwork that sits right on top of this thing, I'm looking at it now from the top, is where it comes across, is right here. There is a great big duct right here that feeds from the front, goes right on top of that actuator, and what it does is it feeds this one and this one. As you can see, I left the airbag in. I didn't have to remove it. I just disconnected the battery. What I did, and this is going to work fine, I know it is, I took a mini Sawzall and I cut the plastic duct right here. One cut right across there. As you can see, I took one cut. There's 2 screws. There's a screw there and a screw here. And there's a brace that goes across the top. You'll see it when you get it apart. You'll see the brace there. I think it's 4 or 5 screws. That just lifts out of there. When I made this cut, I just moved it away. Bingo. There's the actuator. So in order to get to this actuator, I had to remove the top of the dashboard, the ducts here, the dash, the part that covers up the that pops right out here on the dash, on the dash that covers up the speedometer. Maybe you don't even have to remove the glove compartment. Maybe you don't. You don't have to remove the radio, that's for sure. And I took the temperature gauge out of here, or the adjuster. I took that out of here because one of the bulbs is burned out, and I'm going to solder in a new one into that. You definitely don't have to mess with the console. So I'm thinking I could have saved myself a lot of heartache, but I wanted to share this with everybody. I got the new actuator. It was $80-some. I had to match the part number that was there. I got it from Rock Auto. Took 2 days to get. Cheapest place anywhere to get it. Depending on which one you have, they have them down to $45. I had to match the number that they had. So, but this was $85, I think it was. A few dollars shipping. And it works. I plugged it in, turned the ignition on, turned the AC on, it moves back and forth. I'm doing my happy dance. So now I just got to get this whole damn thing back together again. But, so instead of messing around with cutting things open down below and just scraping up your ankles, cut this duct. Now, the way I'm going to put it back together, like I said, I'm a contractor. There is a peel and stick tape. It's an epoxy, or it's a petroleum product tape that we use for sealing windows. I'm going to wrap that around. I'm going to wrap that around the duct when I get it into place, and then I'm going to use a mineral-based polyurethane, or a mineral-based caulk sealant. and I'm going to mush it all along the top here. So what if it leaks a little bit? Who cares? It's just going to go into the dashboard, but at least I'm not blowing hot air in the middle of the summer for air conditioning, and I've got control, you know? So anyway, this is my trick. I'll take a video when it's all done to make sure that it's working, but good luck to everybody. And thanks to all you YouTubers out there for the help you've given me so far. Okay, I just put the piece of ductwork back in here, and what I did was I made a couple little straps up here with some screws, self-tapping sheet metal screws. I hold it together on this side over here, and on this side I use the stuff that I use for sealing windows. It's called Vicor, peel and stick, whatever. It's really sticky stuff, and it holds very, very well. And now what I'm going to do is across the whole top here, just because it's easy and it won't run down the side, is I'm using a construction adhesive. It's a mineral oil based stuff. It goes by a couple of different names, but it's really sticky, and you got to make sure that it adheres to plastics. Do not use silicone, do not use latex, it just doesn't work. But go with something that needs mineral spirits for cleanup, and that it's sealer, and it'll cost you about $5. But anyway, put it on there, and that'll act as a sealer, number one, and number two, it'll act as an adhesive. Over here on the other side, there is a little pin that I had to break on the side. What I'm going to do, just to keep this from rattling, is that I'm just going to drill a hole through here and put a screw in there. And that'll be the end of that. And then I just have to start putting this whole thing back together again. All right, so talk to you later. Hi. Okay, I've got that duct in, and I just wanted to show you before, because now I'm ready to put the top of the dashboard back together. There was a couple of connections that I had to make here. I put a pop rivet in it and put some of that sealing compound. This is the screw that I had to put in because I had to break the plastic tab off. This is the metal bracket that I had to remove earlier. Very important here, make sure that when you make the cut, I use a little Milwaukee mini hacksaw, a sawzall. It worked perfectly. A full-size sawzall isn't going to work too well. If you can, try to borrow a little small one. But make sure there's a bracket right here on the ductwork. Make your cut to the left. This area here is solid and it's stabilized. If you make the cut between the solid and this bracket right in here, now I've got this screw also securing this so it's not rattling. But I put a bunch of adhesive along here with the Vicor. Alright. So far, this is the greatest, easiest way to do this. I've only got about 20 minutes into this from the time that I installed the actuator. And I'm going to pop the dashboard on now.